Hi everyone, it's Anne here. So I just want to talk to you about my experience here in Denmark. I have lived here with Aria for about almost 6 years. So if you want to move to Denmark or something, maybe you'll get something good from this video. So I'll start with the first thing you need to know about Denmark is that you will, if you are coming here to find a job or to have a job, then you should know that you will pay a very high tax. It's at least, now I'm working, so I'm paying at least 30% of my income. So, but the good thing is that Denmark has the highest, or at least one of the highest, one of many countries who have high taxes. Oh no, not high. Yes, high taxes, but also high incomes. So it's all right that you pay about 30% of your income, because you're also getting much more. For example, I do have a higher income here than I was in Sweden, and after my taxes are taken away, then I also have much more money than my salary in Sweden when I worked as a social worker. So you have to think about that. So if you are here to earn money, then it's a better place to work in than in Sweden. One thing is, if you haven't have a job, don't come to Denmark thinking that you will find a job immediately. It's even if you have a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, there are many academics or people with a degree who doesn't have a job, so they are forced to move back. So for example, I have a bachelor's degree from Sweden in social work. I also started a master's degree in the Philippines, the University of the Philippines in Diliman. But it's not enough that you have a degree, and it's not even enough that you know Danish. As you know, when you come to Denmark, you will speak Danish, and it's a more difficult language than Swedish. Although I could understand Danish, it took me more than 6 months, about 6 months when I could speak Danish, and when I learned Swedish it only took me 3 months. So it's more difficult than German or even Chinese and even Arabic. So you really should think if it's worth the trip. I mean, if you are living, for example, in the Philippines, is it worth your time? Because you really have to learn the language. But it really depends on your personality and what your goals are, because I have met some Filipinos. There was one Filipino I met, and we were studying Danish. And because he didn't learn Swedish, the only thing he was thinking about was English and Danish. So he wasn't confused, because Swedish and Danish are very much alike when it comes to the language itself, the written language. You can understand. If you know Swedish, then you can understand Danish. But the spoken Danish is another story. It's more difficult to enunciate. It's more difficult to pronounce. It's not like Swedish. It's much more difficult. So think about that before you come to Denmark. Maybe you should learn Danish first in your country before coming to Denmark. Or you can find a job maybe on the internet or computer where you only need to speak English. There are many Filipinos here who have such jobs who don't have to learn Danish. Then it's alright. yeah, about the job. Since I had a bachelor's degree from Sweden, I thought that, oh yeah, I'll work as a social worker, but it took me about almost 4 years of applying as a social worker before I realized that nobody will hire me as a social worker. Even in the last, yeah, after the 4th year, and they didn't apply for social welfare check, and I then thought I should get help from the community, from the council, so I applied because I thought they would help me not only with money, they would help me with applying for a job. And when I did, the only help I got was I had some exercise groups I went to, some workshops, you know, so that you can learn how to write, how to apply properly, but I didn't know that from Sweden as well, so yeah, it wasn't a big help. But the only internship was what I got was working in a gardening plant, so as a gardener, and then one time in a grocery shop, and it was hard work, but I got that internship. But I asked if I could be an intern in a social office, and it was so difficult. I wrote so many applications, so many letters, and I didn't get any help. So yeah, so think about that. If you want to move to Denmark, you really have to know someone. The job I'm doing, I got it because we knew somebody. So that's the way to find a job in Denmark. If you're not, for example, social work is not a thing you can only apply to you here in Denmark. In Sweden, I just got the job after graduation, so it was not difficult. And yeah, so think about that. When it comes to the climate, it's not as cold as Sweden, so for me it wasn't difficult to adjust because I have lived in Sweden for 18 years. So but you should think about some things, like it rains a lot in Denmark, so you really have to have good raincoats. I have 1 rain pants and 1 raincoat. And the wind blows so hard, especially during winter, so I use jackets that are waterproof, and I also have thermal pants that are waterproof, because even though it's only 5 degrees Celsius outside, and which means that it's not cold, you can handle the coldness even without the thermal pant. But the thing is, when the wind blows hard, then you really feel cold, so you should get the thermal pants. When it comes to food, if you are a meat eater, there is I mean, the Danish food is quite delicious. It's meat based and it's high fat. But if you like low fat diets or vegan diets, then it's more difficult to find, but you can go to happycow.com, and you will find some restaurants there. We have gone to Simple Raw in Copenhagen, and there is also Astrid och Aporna in Copenhagen, but just go to happycow.com, so you will find some restaurants there. When it comes to the schools in Denmark, now this depends on your personality. If you're an independent student, then it's fine to go to schools in Denmark. But if you're like me, who wants more guidance from your teachers and less from your classmates, then it's better to study in countries like Sweden. And also, if you love study groups, then it's perfect to study here in Denmark, because I know they want to save money, so they have study groups and they think it's more efficient, but it doesn't suit everyone, because as a Filipino, I'm used to social gatherings and parties and social meetings, and but when it comes to homework, or yeah, when it comes to work from school, I would rather do it by myself. So you have to think about that. Yeah, as I've said before, I have my notes here. As I've said before, if your goal on living abroad is to earn money, then Denmark is right for you. Now, when it comes to the Danes, the Danish people, you should know that they are very frank. And for me, at first I was offended, but now that I know them, for me it's the best approach anyway, because I don't like it when I have to read between the lines. And for me, while living in Sweden, that was quite difficult, because Swedes are reserved. They don't tell you what they are feeling, so you have to know them first. So even though I got offended at first here, because Danes would just tell you up front what they think of you, now I know that, yeah, they only do it not to be rude, really, although many think of Danes are rude. They only want to be frank, because they want you to know what they are thinking, and they also want to help you out. And I also have realized that Danes are very stressed, especially at work. They will not they want to be efficient, time efficient, so they will not waste time in politeness. Like when I started working, people did greet me and they were welcoming, but they would not talk to me at first. And now I think that they were only waiting for me to get confident in my work. And they too are like that. When they are working, they are very serious. So it's not like they just want to snub you or anything. Working here in Denmark is also perfect for people who want to work less. You only work about 37 hours per week here in Denmark, in contrast to Sweden, where you work more. You work 40 hours per week. But for me, I would rather work 40 hours per week and feel less stressed, because you have the time to do your work. And yeah, here you only work 37 hours, but I feel like you have to run faster just to do your work. And if I would work as a social worker here, I think I would be burned out, not only stressed, because I'm just thinking, because I talked to some social workers here, and they said they also have about 40 cases assigned to them, and I did too in Sweden. So if I'm going to meet 40 people or 40 cases, if I have to handle that in 3 hours less, I would go crazy. So yeah, if I would be a social worker here, maybe I would do some overwork or overtime. Yeah, or maybe because Danes are serious in their job, when they are not on their jobs, they do party a lot and they party hard. They are like Filipinos. They love parties. They love to have a nice time with their colleagues, friends and families, and they will spend at least 3 hours just having a dinner. And for me, that's a lot. I mean, it's alright. I'm used to having parties on the beach. That's okay. I can be on the beach the whole day. I won't complain. But I think spending 3 hours having dinner and talking to people you're not used to talking every day. I don't know, it's, for me, it's not the thing I'm looking forward to. So Danes love to eat, they love to drink, and love to dance. And if you're not into that like me, then they could get offended when you tell them that you don't like to go to their parties, you just want to stay at home. And they might think of you as antisocial. So it's important that you tell them, no, you know, I just want to recharge my batteries, and I just want to rest because I work hard. Then maybe they will understand. So, or maybe not. I don't know. It depends on people you talk to. So just tell them up front, because they are very frank. So if you tell them the way you feel, try not to hide things from them, because people will see how you are, how you really are. And because they are frank, then yeah, if you do that to them, then they would understand. So, but they are not very used to people not drinking, for example. That would be so weird for them. So yeah, that's my experience and some advice for people wanting to live in Denmark. So I hope you have enjoyed the video. Please leave a comment down below so others can also read, and we love to read your comments as well. So thank you for watching. Bye.